Welcome to Petty Details, where the crew gallivants down a tree-lined lane of conversation on all kinds of different subjects. Join the crew as they jump in the Wayback Machine in the quest for nuggets of knowledge. Our journey will allegedly drop some petty details on you that you didn't know you needed to know until now. Hello, crew!
Hello.
Welcome to my co-hosts, Cam and Monica.
Hello, hello.
Hello. What's up?
As always, please subscribe
Yes.
and tell us your ideas, your thoughts, your comments.
Give us some suggestions.
You want any merch? Like my Fragile Donut shirt?
Fragile donut or agile donut?
Fragile donut is funnier though.
It is funnier.
It's like, no, please don't eat.
So or the Let's Go in the Wayback Machine. We have a dinosaur planter at the house.
Okay.
And it's glass, right? And so we keep telling the kids that it's a fragile dinosaur, and so they can't touch it. And so that's why I got fragile memory.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fragile
My bad.
donut though.
And then the
that was
D,
pretty
like the
epic.
D, the beginning with a D, yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't help either.
No, it killed me. All right, so are you ready to go in the Wayback Machine?
Let's do this.
So this is a Valentine's adjacent episode.
My
Okay.
heart.
Let's talk about one of the first movie star sex symbols.
Okay.
Okay.
The original, the much referenced Valentino.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
And I am going to mess up these names, so just be ready for it. Are you ready? Rodolfo Pierto Filberto Guglielmi di Valentine de Antequera.
Okay.
Okay, Monica,
That's
you know
a
when
mouthful.
there's a train wreck that happens, you can't look away.
Yes, that's what that was.
That's what that was.
Yes.
It got worse.
It
I was
really
like, oh,
did.
she can't get worse than that. And then the
She started
googly
off real
eyes
strong.
part was crazy.
Yeah.
I warned
Started
you,
off
it
real
was
strong
bad.
and then meow.
Yeah.
All right, so Rodolfo, we're just going to leave it at that, was born in Italy on May 6th, 1895.
He's Italian? Shocker.
Yeah.
Right.
He grew up with a brother and sister, but his father died when he was 11. And he apparently was a beautiful child.
Okay.
His father being Italian and his mother being French.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like really favored by his mom. She let him get away with everything.
Oh boy.
But his dad was much more strict. But he didn't do very well in school.
Okay.
He ended up getting a certificate from an agricultural school. But he doesn't want to be a farmer.
No, not with a name like that.
No. And he really doesn't know what he wants to do. So he's kind of bouncing between France and Italy. He's not finding much work. So he decides it's time to start fresh and comes to America in December of 1913.
Okay.
Petty detail. He never became an American citizen and kept his Italian citizenship.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay. Not even dual citizenship, huh?
No.
Right.
And there's probably a reason for that. I don't think he gets to it. But yeah. But young Valentino is kind of a mess.
Okay.
He can't seem to keep a job in the States either.
Oh, jeez.
So he keeps getting fired from jobs, mostly where he's like waiting tables.
Okay.
He's just too hot.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, get out.
Yeah, he's hot and he doesn't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
So
I'm
now,
too pretty for this.
So now he's living on the streets, begging for food at his former employer's restaurants.
Oh, jeez.
But in 1914, his looks finally help him out. And he's hired as a dancer where he would tango for $50 a week.
Oh.
Whoa.
Watch out now.
Yeah.
Right?
Petty detail. One of his dance partners was the famous vaudeville dancer, Joan Sawyer.
Oh, okay.
So then he lands at one of those places where people pay to dance with you. Think like Private Dancer by Tina Turner.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, can't seem to stay out of trouble.
Oh, jeez.
Dang.
Yeah. So at this dance hall, he becomes friends
Mm-hmm.
with a married heiress from Chile.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I sense trouble.
Right?
So not sure if they actually had a thing or if it was just
Mhm.
a rumor. But this heiress ends up doing something crazy for 1916, and she divorces her husband.
Uh-oh.
Scandal.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Valentino is front and center for this, testifying that her husband was having an affair with the
Hmm.
aforementioned dance partner, Joan Sawyer.
Ah,
Oh.
So, may or may not be true. I don't know. Um, Obviously, the husband is not very happy with the situation,
right.
and he has Valentino arrested for
Oh,
unknown charges where his original bail was set at $10,000.
Oh my
oh my
gosh.
God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And
That's
I could not
crazy.
find anywhere what these charges were.
Like, just,
They're just like, hey, we're
That's
putting you in jail.
yeah,
insane.
because that's what happened back then. But yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But Valentino is let off the charges after his bail was reduced to 1,500. But after
Okay.
that, he's like an outcast in the dancing scene because this was such a scandal.
Yeah, huge
Dang.
scandal.
Right.
Crazy.
And the whole thing was documented in the papers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's that kind of scandal.
And they
So,
presented only facts, right?
oh, of
Oh,
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
not thoughts, facts.
No thoughts. Just
Actual facts.
yeah.
So, nobody will hire him. His friends turn on him. And then the Chilean heiress cuts him off, cuts off
Oh,
all contact.
Oh. She's like, oh,
ooh.
you don't have any power, wealth anymore. It's just
Yeah,
you're just pretty. Leave
yeah.
Yeah,
me.
You're not
you
convincing
can't
me.
you can't do anything for me now.
Right.
Right. So, petty detail. About 8 months after the divorce was finalized, she ends up shooting and killing her ex husband over custody of their son.
Oh,
Shooting and killing is
snap.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
snap.
she went on
Over
trial.
Whoa.
custody.
Yeah. And she went on trial and she was actually acquitted.
Oh,
Like, she said
dang.
that she shot him, and they're like, oh, poor you.
You have,
Yeah,
yeah, what?
but you have to,
Just leave.
you
Right.
have to be there for your kids, so you're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the shooting is also big news.
Yeah.
So when Valentino finds out about the murder, he
He's like,
decides,
hey,
yeah,
you
he's
up?
like,
He sends the you up
Yeah,
text.
yeah.
right.
3 a.m.
What you
He
doing,
does
girl?
he does
Yeah.
not. He actually decides it is time to leave town.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Dang.
And he heads to the West Coast with a traveling musical theater company
okay.
Oh,
because he does
okay.
not want to get caught up in another scandal.
Oh,
Smart move.
Yeah, he's like,
right.
I'm out, and you didn't
I
talk to me
wasn't
anyway,
here.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So he ends up in an Al Jolson production.
Okay.
And Al Jolson, Cam, was a famous vaudevillian that
Okay.
has become a little cringe at
Okay.
his use of blackface in his performances.
Ooh.
Yikes. Early
Yeah.
1900s?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot
Yeah. And
of
he's
that.
Yeah.
famous for him. Not
Yeah.
Valentino, Al Jolson.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So Valentino ends up in LA where he gets a couple of little parts in theater productions. And
Mhm.
he ends up meeting Norman Carey, who
Okay.
would go on to have a big career in early movies, but was just starting out at the time.
Mhm.
Okay, but they become friends. And Valentino and Carey actually become roommates.
Oh, awesome.
And Valentino went back to dancing because he's
Mhm.
not on the blacklist on the West Coast.
Right.
While Carey continues to try and make it in the movies. And Valentino is actually good at dancing. Like, he's good
Okay.
looking, he's charming, he's just like a high paid stripper.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
he starts having sugar mamas buy him stuff, let him
Oh,
drive their
dang.
cars, stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, the life.
The
Right.
life, yes. So when World War I hits, both Carrie and Valentino try to sign up to fight for the French.
Oh,
Yeah, but that doesn't work
okay.
out. Carrie ends up enlisting with the U.S. Army, and Valentino ends up rejected by the US, Canada, and the French. And I don't know why.
Oh,
I would
dang.
have to assume isn't Italy like on the wrong side of that? Or is that no, that's World War
Possibly.
II.
Well, no.
It might be both,
It might
actually.
be both, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
It
know why
might
he
be
was.
because he's Italian.
Maybe.
Partially.
Yeah. Might be because of his record. I don't know.
His full name. It could be his entire
Yeah,
name.
Yeah.
That might
exactly.
be a red
The
flag to
whole
them.
thing.
Yeah. If they're
Yeah,
Right,
like,
right,
we
right.
can't pronounce it, we're not doing it.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
We can't print that on a uniform. Sorry.
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. But Carrie helps him out and he starts to get parts as an extra in silent movies in 1917.
Okay.
Okay.
And this leads him to start getting bit parts as either a gangster or a villain.
Oh, okay.
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 I'm assuming dark hair, like dark features.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me,
Exactly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And in 1919, he finally gets a part as the second lead in, I love this title, The Delicious Little Devil.
Oh no. Was this a stripper movie? What was
It sounds
this?
like it, but it is
It
not.
does.
No. Yeah. So things are looking up for Valentino in 1919. And in October, he goes to a party and he meets a 27-year-old vaudeville and now
Hmm.
silent film actress named Jean Acker.
Okay.
Okay.
They have a very short courting. And in November,
Oh.
they get married.
Oh, dang.
Oh! I thought you meant short courting as in like they split.
No, like they get married.
They courted towards one another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
they
crazy.
dated for about a month.
Right. They
Yeah.
went steady, dated, had the three,
Yeah.
they passed the
The
3 month
whole
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
But as these things always do when you rush in, it went south very, very quickly.
Right.
Shocking. So
I mean,
shocking.
diving head first isn't the right thing to
No.
do.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
Get to know your partner before marrying them? Never.
What?
What?
Crazy talk.
Shocking idea there,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, so this goes south so quickly that in fact, on their wedding night,
Oh.
oh yeah, uh, Jean locks him out of their hotel room
Oh my
and they
God.
never consummate the marriage.
Oh my
Oh.
God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like day one, boom.
Yeah, she didn't even make it 24 hours. She's like, no.
Jeez.
Right. But this is probably because Jean Acker was secretly a lesbian
Oh,
who, at this
okay.
point in time, was juggling two lovers plus now her husband.
Oh, dang.
All right. So Jean is now juggling all these lovers.
Yeah.
So her and Valentino separate, but they stay married until early March 1922 when she files for divorce.
Oh, okay. So they stayed married though.
Yeah. Well, for a
Like,
while.
well, yeah.
Yeah. And the final divorce judgment is filed on March 12th, 1923.
Okay.
The divorce ends up costing Valentino
No.
alimony. Because by this time he's become a star. Oh, Cam. The faces of Cam. We're having some issues with his internet tonight.
Okay. Um,
Uh,
do you want me to switch to my phone?
no, it's gonna be fine.
Gosh.
All
Okay.
right, so we are gonna back up a little bit.
All right.
So his big break comes in 1921 when
Mm-hmm.
he stars in The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Okay.
Oh.
And this movie
Okay.
is a huge hit.
Yeah.
It is the
Mhm.
first movie to make $1 million at the box office.
Oh, dang.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And it ends up being the sixth highest grossing silent film ever.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. But it's not all roses from there, as the head of the studio won't give him a raise.
Mm.
So apparently, the director of Four Horsemen thought Valentino wasn't a great actor. They
Okay.
didn't like each other. And the director's opinion weighed heavily in the studio's decision not to give him more money.
Gotcha.
That also didn't give him another good opportunity. So his next movie was a B movie. So
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
He's like,
One of the top paid
One of
actor.
the
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
he's a
in
he's a
not
star
he's an
in this
yeah, he's
huge
an
hit, and then they're like, no, we don't like you.
right. Not one of the
That's
top paid
crazy.
actors. He's in
Right.
one of the hugest movies, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's on this B movie set where he meets his new love interest,
Oh,
Okay.
costume designer and actress Natasha Rambova.
okay.
Oh.
Okay. So now the movie is going to be a total flop, but it
Right.
does help him and Natasha get close.
Okay.
Mhm.
Except remember, we've backed up at this point, so he's still married to Acker.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So Natasha and Valentino decide to play it cool and wait until his divorce is final before they're really seen together.
Mhm.
Okay.
Keep it down low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also in 1921, he gets one of his most famous parts as the love interest in the movie Chic.
Chic.
Yeah. And this makes him big with audiences, and he
Okay.
continues to star in some big films.
Okay.
This is also what solidifies his lover typecasting and makes him a sex
Okay.
symbol.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So now Natasha and Valentino really have a lot in common.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
and she doesn't want to be with him because of his like persona, right? But because
Mhm.
they are very much friends.
Okay.
Right.
They are into artsy stuff like fine art, reading poetry,
Nice.
and of course, spiritualism.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So they're running around talking to psychics and doing seances and stuff.
Hmm.
They end up
As one
moving.
does.
I was gonna say, what else is there to do in the early 1920s?
Right.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
And they end up moving in together before marriage
Whoa. While he's still
What?
married
while he's still married.
Right.
to
See,
someone
I think
else.
that extra part might be the part that's more shocking now, I
Right?
guess.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Although they do keep separate apartments, but he's basically living at her apartment, right?
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Okay, now this is where it gets fuzzy with the dates.
Okay.
So a lot of places say Valentino and Natasha head to Mexico in May of 1922 and get married.
Okay.
Hmm.
But A, because dates are fuzzy, and B, because he was supposed to wait a year after the divorce to get
Hmm.
remarried,
Oh.
because that was the law. Valentino is
Hmm.
charged with bigamy upon coming back to the States.
Not
Okay.
bigamy.
Yep.
Yeah, of
That's
course, the
crazy.
bigamy charge is splashed all over the papers,
Naturally.
right? And this will
Of
be
course.
a recurring theme in their marriage.
Okay.
But he
Mhm.
somehow dodges being sent to jail,
Right.
and Valentino and Rambova get married again in Crown Point, Indiana on
Hey,
March 14th, 1923.
look at that, Indiana.
Yeah. So, petty detail, they chose Indiana because it was one of the few states that didn't have a waiting period for marriage licenses.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
okay.
so there are actually quite a few people that got married in Indiana that you wouldn't expect. I
Nice.
believe when we talked about Jerry Lee Lewis, he was one of them, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Or was that in
I
Kentucky?
maybe I don't remember
I
now.
can't remember. But yeah, so Valentino is in Indiana, gets married. So Rambova ends up becoming his manager and in turn, pissing off a bunch of Hollywood heavyweights.
Way to go.
Yeah. So Natasha said that Valentino was very agreeable and nice and didn't have
Hmm.
much business sense. So people would try and take advantage of him because he
Right.
just wanted to be liked.
Yeah.
And she would step in and tell people no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Natasha will get blamed for Valentino deciding to go on strike in late 1922.
Okay.
So Valentino is upset because he was making about $7,000 less than the silent film star Mary Pickford had made.
Oh, wow.
He was
Mm.
also pissed because on one of the films, Blood and Sand, where he was a bullfighter, he
Hmm.
thought it would be filmed in Spain, but instead it was filmed on a set in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Now, during this time, the studio he was striking against was called Famous Players, which became Paramount.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
But
whoa.
yeah, but they are in trouble because of the whole Fatty Arbuckle uproar.
Oh, yeah.
And
Callback.
right.
Yeah.
And they have to shelve all of his movies, so they need Valentino.
Okay.
Mm.
And this isn't going on privately. This isn't
Oh,
like back office
Yeah.
kind of thing. Famous
No.
players are suing Valentino, and Valentino is talking to the papers.
dang.
Gotcha.
And famous players are countering in the papers.
Oh,
Yeah. So they are also blocking him from working for other studios as an actor.
Oh, wow.
dang.
Yeah, it's getting a little ugly.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is getting really messy. Valentino is broke. He's spending money he doesn't have.
Eek.
Meanwhile, he can't work as an actor. So he's not in a great place. But luckily, he meets a man who had worked with a skincare company.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Valentino goes on tour as their spokesperson.
Oh,
Ah.
nice.
Yeah, so he's one of the first like faces of L'Oreal or whatever, right?
Right.
Right, right,
Cover
right.
girl. He's the cover
Yeah.
girl.
He's the first
Yes.
Um,
cover girl.
and of course, he's like a hit with the female population,
Right.
Mhm.
right? Because he's hot.
Yeah.
But during this time, his wife slash manager, Natasha, has negotiated his contract. So he is making more money and he has more creative control, and he's slated to make two more pictures for famous players. The first of these films is, and I'm going to screw this one up too, Monsieur Beaucaire. It's total
Okay.
flop. Total flop. And
Oh.
of course, this gets blamed on Natasha. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Why?
That would say like,
well, this starts become this feeling around Hollywood that she's just too controlling of Valentino
Okay.
and she won't let him think for himself.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so they're like, "Oh, yeah, she's this is all
It's
her
her
fault."
fault. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I get it.
Right. So then his second movie in 1924 under the contract is Sainted Devil,
Okay.
and also wasn't very good and didn't do well at the box office.
Hmm.
So so he now has a contract for four films with Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
And the
Mhm.
first one, The Hooded Falcon, doesn't do well
oh,
either.
oh,
Valentino, or maybe Natasha, wasn't happy with the script and asked it to be redone. So this pissed off the writer, who stopped speaking to Valentino.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. And on this film, Natasha is doing the costumes. Well, because of the rewrites and the money spent on these apparently elaborate costumes,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have much actual money for the film.
Oh.
This pisses off Ritz-Carlton, which terminates the contract.
Ah.
Right. So his next movie was or his next move was to talk to Charlie Chaplin and Douglas Fairbanks about moving over to United Artists.
Okay.
Now, these were very favorable terms for Valentino. Way more money than he's used to, and only 3 films a year. But the
Oh, yeah.
contract also called for his wife slash manager to be excluded from working on the films,
Oh.
negotiating terms on the films, and she was even banned from the sets.
Oh, dang.
oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah. So she's really pissing off people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, this isn't going to be good for their marriage.
No.
Oh,
She's
oh.
mad that she's being banned from sets. He's seeing a bunch of bad press about how she wears the pants in the family and he just does whatever she
Ah,
says. So he's feeling like emasculated
Right.
and he's really worried about his public persona.
Okay.
oh,
Then you
dang.
have their views on family. Valentino wanted what he had growing up in Italy, a family with kids where the mom stays home and cooks and takes care of the house.
Right.
Natasha was a career woman. She was trying to make
Mm-hmm.
something of herself. She didn't want kids. She didn't want to stay home.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's kind of a wild idea in 1920.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was
Yeah. So,
definitely different for the time.
yes. So, meanwhile, around this time, as with all high profile sex symbols, someone is always trying to tear them down, right?
Mm.
Yep.
And this isn't just new to social media. This is like a normal
No.
thing that's happening
His
since the beginning
Hollywood,
of
it's
time,
been
right?
happening forever.
Exactly.
Right.
So they attack his masculinity. They talk about how nice his clothes are, how they're too nice. They talk about his hairstyle. I mean, it's going so far as the Chicago Tribune saying that he was responsible for face powder that was at a vending machine in a men's bathroom.
Okay.
What?
Yeah,
Because he personally installed it, right?
right. Yeah.
Right.
So this is like really bothering him. And he's also trying to branch out. On the one hand, he doesn't really want to lean into the sex symbol status. And he does things like publishing poetry and writing a series about exercise. He's having
Mm-hmm.
boxing matches, which he's actually winning.
Okay.
Um, but on the other hand, whenever he tries to move away from that sex symbol image, the audiences don't like it and the films don't do well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So to
He's
keep
typecast, yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
to keep his status, he has to stay the sex symbol and really like embrace it.
Yeah.
But it's making him lonely also. He's had one
Mm.
failed marriage already. His second is falling apart.
Yeah.
Mm.
His friends abandoned him because of all the scandals and because they don't like Natasha.
Okay.
Right.
So he tells a gossip columnist, quote, the women I love don't love me. The others don't matter.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So despite
he's
all
like,
this,
I'm hot. I don't know what to do.
yeah,
What do
Yeah.
I do? I'm just so hot.
Woe
right.
is me.
Yeah. So despite all this success and him being wanted by women everywhere, he just feels like hollow. He's not really happy.
Oh.
And by 1925, Natasha and Valentino are done. They have separated, they're filing for divorce. And of course, this is in all the papers.
Yep.
So it's not only a messy divorce, but it's very public.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, Natasha is trying to do her own thing, getting her own films, but
Mm.
she can't get away from being Mrs. Valentino. So
Oh.
they're
And the
both
reputation that she has built herself
exactly.
of being too
Right.
controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There are newspaper articles talking more about her loss of Valentino more than the film that she was doing.
Dang.
Oh,
And the
okay.
critics aren't much kinder.
Wow.
Jeez.
But Valentino is busy making films of his own and stars in The Eagle in 1925,
Okay.
which does okay. But then he
Mm.
films a sequel to his earlier film, The Sheik, and it's called The Son of the Sheik in February of
Huh.
1926.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody involved is really banking on this movie making money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Valentino is busy spending money like it's nothing.
Of course.
Yeah. But he's also feeling like sick while he films this.
Uh-oh.
But because he needs
Okay.
to make money, and so does United Artists, so they send him on a promotion tour. And during this tour in New York City, he's at the Hotel Ambassador when he collapses with abdominal pain on August 15th, 1926.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's rushed to the hospital and has to have emergency surgery for what they think is appendicitis and gastric ulcers.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh,
Appendicitis, it'll get you.
yikes.
Right. Petty detail. A syndrome was named after Valentino because of this incident.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Because his initial symptoms looked like appendicitis, but it was
Mhm.
actually an ulcer that left him that he left untreated and it burned a hole in his stomach.
Okay.
So they named it
Oh no.
Valentino syndrome.
Whoa.
So by
Damn.
August 18th, the papers are told that he's recovering nicely, but he had actually ended up with peritonitis, which is basically his organs are inflamed.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah.
everything's swollen and unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by August 21st, he's also gotten pleuritis, which is when the area around the lungs is inflamed
Oh
and you
no.
can't breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he's got sepsis, which is a nasty
Oh,
infection.
Goodness.
this guy.
Yeah. So by August 23rd, he is in a coma
Hmm.
and he dies just a little while later and he's only 31 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So now you see why he
Jeez.
probably didn't get to getting his citizenship
Right.
because he
Yeah.
wasn't around that long.
Right.
Um, so he has this huge funeral on August 30th with like 100,000 people just watching the procession.
Wow.
There
Whoa.
are stories of suicides of distraught fans in the papers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Oh
a
my goodness.
riot where fans are trying to break into the funeral home.
A riot. Jeez.
What?
Yeah. And the New York police have to be called to get this under control.
Oh my
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He's
gosh.
like Elvis big.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, then there's this Polish actress, Pola Negri,
Uh-huh.
and she is super dramatic at the funeral.
Oh boy.
She's
She's
fainting,
got,
like throwing herself at the
yep.
coffin type thing. Yeah. Getting a huge flower arrangement with her name on it, claiming that they were engaged.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no.
There is no proof of that, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
And petty detail, Pola was also said to have been a mistress of Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe she
Yeah.
got her actors mixed up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right?
She's like, he's missing his stash. Where's his stash?
Exactly.
No.
So then he has a second funeral in Beverly Hills.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
One's not good
But
enough.
since he was
Right?
so young, he didn't have any funeral plans. So a screenwriter friend of his lets them use her ex-husband's crypt temporarily.
Okay.
Oh no.
However, she
Right.
dies the next year and he's never moved.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
So she
but
is buried next to him at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
no
Okay.
freaking way. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, United Artists puts out his last movie, The Son of the Sheik, to the general public on September 5th. So he was like barely in his grave.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, everyone and their mother literally wanted to see it.
Yep.
Right.
So it ends up grossing $1 million within its first year
Oh sheesh.
and would keep making even more money in the years to come.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah. And of course, the critics who had talked so much shit about his acting earlier in his career just fell over themselves
Oh.
praising his performance in this movie.
Fawned it
Crazy,
over him.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he ended up leaving his siblings part of his estate, and the rest went to Natasha's aunt, whom he was really
Oh.
close with.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Natasha
Huh.
reportedly got snubbed in the will and only got $1.
Oh wow.
No
I don't know
way.
what's worse, being left out
That's
completely or you get $1.
you get $1 is worse
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like they
Yep.
thought about you
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and you only got $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And yet somehow she talks fondly of him after his death.
That's
Because you don't
awesome.
speak ill of the dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Um,
that's why all the critics changed their tune too.
Right. And I think
Mhm.
she wasn't trying to piss any more people off.
Right.
Well,
She's
that
like,
too.
look.
Yeah.
But she talked about how close they were as friends, although she wasn't able to attend his funeral because she was out of the country. So,
Okay.
but his early death really like solidifies his mystique. And he
Yeah.
becomes this legend, almost like a myth. His name is almost synonymous with sexiness, like as Romeo's is synonymous with love.
Right.
And his name is in multiple movies, TV shows, songs. He's just like this larger than life character.
Yeah.
So there you
Interesting.
have it. The story of Rudolph Valentino and his very short life.
And his very long name.
Yes, his very long name, short life,
Right.
and all of his scandals.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So stay petty, but not as petty as the people who hated Natasha.
Right. Don't leave your ex $1 in your will.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
See ya.